So what we see here is these guys are just acting cool. I mean, the guy with the helmet on is a little bit sketch. Bad guy number one with the gun emptied all the beans in the wheel and then he runs off.
From extreme booby traps to cunning confinement tactics and even encounters with wild beasts, these owners didn't just defend their property, they transformed into fearless warriors against crime. These are the recorded chronicles of cases where victims refused to succumb to fate. Instead, they flipped the script on their would-be assailants. How did these cunning thieves meet their match? And what unfolded in the aftermath of their capture?
An 83-year-old great-grandfather fights off 3 armed robbers.
Today, we uncover the jaw-dropping moments when the hunted became the hunters. Getting the jail experience before going to jail. In this thrilling scene, a cunning thief, clearly prepared for his mission, was captured on security cameras sneaking into a building through the ceiling. Knowing exactly what he was after, the robber made a beeline for a door. But little did he know, the building owner was lying in wait, ready to confront him. As the thief slipped through the door, a voice urgently warned him not to let it close behind him. But he couldn't react fast enough to stop it. It seemed the building owner had long anticipated this moment, rigging the door to be unopenable from the inside, breaking multiple fire codes for this exact scenario. Undeterred, the thief pressed on with his mission, attempting to break down another door. Despite several forceful kicks, it became evident that getting through wouldn't be simple. Desperate, he flicked on the hall light, hoping for a clue. That's when the owner revealed the door was reinforced with steel plating, even poking fun at the thief's shoes. Ignoring the onlooker's warnings, the thief had to halt his assault as his leg throbbed with pain. Left with no choice but to find an escape, the desperate criminal heads for the only wooden door. He tries unlocking it, but it's also locked, so he resorts to kicking it again. Exhausted and helpless, he returns to his entry door and attempts to force it open with a hammer, but to no avail. Running out of breath, the robber turns back to the wooden door and runs into it repeatedly until it finally gives way. However, to his dismay, there's no escape route there. Losing all hope, the man tries to drink water from a nearby tap before kneeling in submission as the cops announce their presence. The officers eventually force open the door from outside and order the criminal to kneel with his hands over his head. Surprisingly, the officer almost makes the same mistake as the thief when he enters to search for another culprit. Fortunately, the criminal's leg was in position to keep the door open just enough to prevent it from closing. The assailant is finally taken into custody. This is one of the most intense and unbelievable moments between a thief and an owner. Was breaking massive fire safety laws worth it? Farm attack gone wrong. The next clip takes us to Brazil, where we see robbers getting far more than they had anticipated. A few years ago, this video went viral across the internet, showing a shocking moment when a couple that were getting ready to leave their farm got attacked. The farmer's wife could be seen opening the gate when a white vehicle suddenly pulled up and a fearsome-looking man jumped out of the vehicle, intimidating the shocked wife, who ran away for safety. It looked as if the wife was helpless, but the assailants were surprised. They were the ones in danger. The woman's husband immediately stepped out of his car armed with a handgun, and he did not hesitate to fire shots. The men who looked fearsome seconds ago are now in total regret for their actions, as they roughly crawled to the safety of their vehicle. With luck, they were able to get back into their vehicle and speed off, escaping unharmed. But it's safe to say they learned a major lesson that day. Aged corn thief caught. In this video, a farmer shared his dramatic encounter with a corn thief. The night before, his friend called to alert him that the corn thieves were back, so he quickly jumped into his truck and sped to the field. When he arrived, he found a thief, an elderly man who didn't fit the typical image of a criminal. The thief, looking surprisingly decent, had driven a Polaris Ranger, the same type of vehicle used by previous thieves. As the farmer confronted him, he noticed the thief was wearing muck boots, just like the ones that had left tracks in the field before. The tire tracks from the Polaris Ranger matched too. The farmer recorded everything on video for evidence. His friend, even angrier than the farmer, furiously scolded the thief multiple times. The elderly man weakly claimed he was feeding the stolen corn to deer and admitted to taking corn from a specific section. But the farmer knew the problem was bigger, involving multiple people freely taking his corn. So, he called the police, and the thief was taken away and locked up that night. Going commando on hogs. Farmers don't just have to worry about human pests, they also have to deal with feral animals. One farmer has been battling feral hogs that have caused millions of dollars in damage in unpredictable ways. Since feral hogs are incredibly smart, traditional hunting and trapping methods are almost useless. So to fight back, the farmer bought a powerful M134 machine gun and thermal imaging equipment. His marksmanship skills are impressive, as he effortlessly takes down the beasts. Failed smash and grab. Farmers aren't the only ones who take bold actions to protect what's theirs. CCTV captured a thrilling incident where quick-thinking employees thwarted a robbery in Huntington Beach. A group of thieves attempted a smash and grab, and as soon as the first thief entered, he smashed through the glass with a hard object, while the second thief rushed in with a black bag. They expected the employees to be too scared to react, but they underestimated how far these workers were willing to go. To the thieves' surprise, a male attendant sprang out of nowhere and landed 2 hefty punches on the thief with the bag. The glass-smashing thief turned to help his partner, creating a 2-on-1 situation, but not for long. The shop's female attendant jumped into the fight, landing jabs from behind. Overpowered and shocked, the criminals ran out, and the workers quickly sealed the doors. The male employee later told reporters he had been watching the suspicious trio in masks and hoodies for a while, and had prepared himself for this situation. In the end, the robbers left empty-handed, having only broken some glass. Brave O'Connor. Still on incidents away from the farm, in 2019, a jaw-dropping video took the internet by storm. It starred Dennis O'Connor, an 85-year-old man, as the unlikely hero in an Irish betting parlor showdown.
An 83-year-old great-grandfather fights off 3 armed robbers. Take a look at this insane video at a betting shop in Ireland.
With CCTV cameras rolling, chaos erupted as armed thieves burst in. As 2 hammer-wielding crooks headed for the counter, another, armed with a gun, approached the customers. One terrified patron dove for cover, but not the great-grandfather. With bravery that could move mountains, he sprang into action. Ignoring the danger, O'Connor squared off against the thieves. He wrestled with one, sending him fleeing in a panic. Undeterred, the elderly man faced down the next, armed only with a chair. The thief tried to intimidate him with his gun, but his rival didn't flinch. As the last thief tried to escape, O'Connor intercepted him, tackling him to the ground. Though the thief slipped away, the old man's courage left everyone awestruck. Despite warnings from officials, the shop's manager hailed O'Connor as a true hero, grateful for his fearless defense. Broad-day motorcycle theft gone wrong. In this intense clip, 2 thieves dared to open a home's gate in broad daylight to steal a bike. They were already making off with the bike when one of the house's occupants charged out with a flying kick, knocking down their getaway bike. The furious defender of the bike took on the scared thieves, who just wanted to escape, but the man wouldn't let them go. Soon enough, a mob joined the chase, and the thieves ran away, leaving their bikes too. What a terrible day to be a thief. Not only did their mission fail woefully, they lost their own prop too. One can only imagine how much worse it would have been if the mob had caught them. Knocking out a thief with weed trimmer. In Northwest Harris County, another theft was caught on CCTV. A man was lawn mowing a yard when he saw a group trying to steal from his equipment truck. They even tried to run him over with their vehicle, but quick as lightning, the man dodged and bravely chased after them. The car managed to escape, but it left one of its crews behind. Seizing the moment, the lawnmower turned back to face the unlucky thief. The robber tried to stand his ground, but he was in trouble when the worker knocked him down with a weed trimmer. Finally, the police arrived, and the culprit, Jarrell, was arrested and taken away. Fighting thieves with suit on. Outside his home, a man faced 2 would-be car thieves. One of them tried to knock him out with a spray, but he fought back with incredible courage and strength.
New at 5, an apparent follow-home robbery attempt in Fullerton captured on security camera and the rear-view camera of the victim's Tesla.
The whole showdown was caught on his Tesla's cameras and his garage security cameras. Despite being sprayed, the man showed no signs of weakness. With the help of nearby neighbors, he managed to fend off the thieves, proving his remarkable bravery and resilience. From painter to street fighter. In Dallas's Design District, Clay Hayner was monitoring his surveillance footage when he noticed a suspicious figure circling his van.
We've told you about thieves stealing catalytic converters from cars. Well, it's happened again, but this guy fought back.
The figure began to tamper with something beneath the vehicle. Clay watched in real time as the man crawled under the van. Minutes later, the van owner burst out of his studio, adrenaline pumping. He confronted the man who looked up and brandished a knife. Clay, filled with rage and frustration, snapped. This wasn't the first time someone had targeted his van. In fact, it was the 4th attempt to steal the catalytic converter, and twice before, they had succeeded. Normally a peaceful painter and photographer, Clay lost all control and grabbed a light stand for protection. He had never fought anyone before, but this time, he was pushed to the edge. The confrontation was fierce. Clay, in a desperate act of self-defense, started hitting the thief's hand until he finally dropped the knife. Dallas police arrived, but the suspect managed to escape. Reflecting on the incident, Clay admitted he wished he could have detained the thief for the authorities. Catalytic converter thefts have been soaring nationwide due to the valuable metals they contain. The National Insurance Crime Bureau reported that thefts jumped from around 1,320 in 2018 to over 52,000 as of August of 2022. Clay's confrontation ended with the suspect fleeing, leaving behind a bicycle and a toolbox filled with tools, which Clay handed over to the police. Cell phone, thief begs for his life. The surveillance footage from a cell phone store in Houston, Texas, on April 17, 2017, vividly illustrates the 5 stages of grief. An armed man identified as John Bell calmly enters the store, demanding cash from an employee. When met with resistance, the employee, along with 2 customers, flees and locks Bell inside. Trapped, Bell experiences denial and anger, attempting to shoot the lock and kick down the door. Transitioning to bargaining, he pleads and prays for escape, but to no avail. Eventually, law enforcement arrived, and Bell was taken into custody. Brazilian store owner wounds robbers. In a dramatic turn of events reminiscent of the Wild Wild West, a convenience store robbery attempt in Goiás, Brazil, in 2017, quickly escalated into a violent confrontation. Surveillance footage captures the 2 assailants initially entering the store under the guise of innocent customers. However, the situation takes a dangerous turn when one of them reveals a weapon and threatens a patron. Reacting swiftly to the imminent threat, the store owner draws his own firearm and engages the robbers in a tense exchange of gunfire. Despite the assailants attempting to flee the scene, they sustained severe injuries during the shootout, ultimately succumbing to their wounds. Although the store owner later surrendered to authorities, he was subsequently released on grounds of self-defense. Botched robbery. When confronted with the looming threat of robbery, individuals often resort to defending themselves with whatever means available, regardless of practicality. In such high-stakes situations, the priority is simply to ensure one's safety and protect one's belongings by any means necessary. This was likely the mindset of the individual featured in our next clip. In 2018, a cannabis dispensary in Ontario fell victim to a robbery. The owner of the store found himself unexpectedly face-to-face with the perpetrators, caught off guard by their brazen intrusion. However, rather than succumbing to panic, he quickly regained his composure and seized a rather unconventional weapon, a bong. Despite the unconventional choice of weaponry, the store owner wasted no time in wielding the bong as a means of defense, determined to protect himself and his co-workers from harm. While one might question the practicality of using a bong as a defensive tool, in the heat of the moment, effectiveness outweighed conventional wisdom. Stealing from a kickboxer. The camera captured the moment when a hooded thief was stealing tools from a vehicle. At first, it looked like he was taking his own things, until he saw an almost naked man sprinting toward him. The thief bolted. Unbeknownst to him, he was stealing from a trained martial artist who had no intention of letting him get away. Fearlessly, the nearly naked man chased the thief into the darkness. The camera couldn't see what happened in the dark, but the shouts and cries echoed through the night. Moments later, a woman emerged from the same building as the kickboxer, puzzled by the noise. As she walked toward the dark alley, she triggered a car alarm and called the cops. Despite the chaos, it was clear the kickboxer was winning as the woman confidently approached the fray. Vigilante group catches a bike thief. This vigilante group recorded their latest encounter with a moped thief that they had been tracking for days. One member, who was particularly skilled at getting close to suspects, managed to film the thief and the stolen bike in clear detail. This footage was promptly uploaded to YouTube, sparking widespread attention. To gather more leads, they created a dedicated Instagram account for anonymous tip-offs, calling it Repo Revenge. The community's response was overwhelming. Multiple addresses linked to the stolen PCX bike poured in, setting the stage for a series of stakeouts. They checked some locations briefly, but at others, they waited for hours, their patience eventually paying off. The breakthrough came when they spotted the stolen bike outside a suspicious address. With adrenaline pumping, they quickly prepared to act. Despite the risk, they knew this was a crucial moment. They had to manage the situation carefully, knowing the suspects might be armed. The bike was indeed stolen, as confirmed by its mismatched plates and distinctive features. The vigilante's leader, communicating with both the police and their own network, ensured that every step was documented and strategic. The tension escalated as they observed from a safe distance. A man approached the bike, tampered with it briefly, and then drove off. The team immediately contacted the police, providing them with the vehicle's registration and directions. Meanwhile, they stayed put, eyes fixed on the stolen bike. Their persistence paid off when the police arrived. Yet even with law enforcement on the scene, the situation remained volatile. Multiple people came and went from the house where the bike was parked. adding to the chaos. A confrontation ensued when a resident of the area approached them, demanding to know their business. The leader, calm but firm, refused to be intimidated. As the situation grew more intense, the decision was made to move the final sensitive moments to a second YouTube channel. This ensured that their followers could see the bike return to its rightful owner without compromising ongoing operations. Dog attack. One can only feel pity for this thief, who picked the wrong house to rob. The video shows the thief's nightmare unfolding as two fierce dogs attacked him. Their teeth sank deep into his skin while the homeowner stood aside, calmly recording the chaos. The thief tried to run, but the dogs ripped at his clothes, refusing to let go. Desperate, he scrambled up a fence and made a last-ditch effort to escape by climbing a mango tree. Even then, the relentless dogs jumped and barked, trying to reach him. Before we continue the video, let's have our subscribers pick for today. On your screen, you see people in black sneaking into a fenced farm. It's clear they shouldn't be there. What if they get caught? Just like in the picture, thieves once broke into a corn farm, and the farmer did something unbelievable. He went live on Facebook, and to his surprise, over 60,000 people watched, turning it into a national event. The thieves had corn in their red truck and begged the farmer, but he called the cops. Little did Da know that they would become famous that day. Is crop theft as bad as burglary? What should be the punishment for robbery? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Package thief caught. Just like the last thief, this Porch pirate wasn't so lucky and barely made it out alive. He pulled up in a silver SUV, walked up to a driveway, and tried to steal a package from the porch. But he had no idea what was coming next. The homeowner, an old man, was watching the whole thing on his Ring camera. As the thief grabbed the package, the old man calmly walked out to his porch holding a gun and, in a low voice, made his presence known. He told the thief he had seen him pull up. Without much more said, the thief knew he had to return the package. While this was happening, the thief's partner in the SUV sped off. The old man took pity on the now stranded thief, allowing him to escape without calling the cops. Thankfully, the old man didn't take things further, but it could have ended a lot worse for the thief. Ex-Marine sets booby trap. Things took a serious turn for the next man who tried a similar act. This thief attempted to steal an Amazon package without knowing it belonged to an ex-Marine. Unaware, he triggered a booby trap set up by the ex-Marine. As the thief opened the package, a gunshot rang out, injuring him. Caught red-handed, the thief crawled to the front porch, gasping for air, and began pleading and lying that he was from next door and not trying to steal. But he had definitely learned a harsh lesson about the consequences of his actions. Raging cow versus thief. When it comes to farm theft, it's obvious that everyone needs to stay alert, not just the farmers, but even the animals. In this clip, we see a dramatic moment when someone sneaks into a dairy farm and tries to steal a calf. The mother cow is furious. She aggressively chases after the thief, ready to do anything to protect her calf. Thief gets tied up to construction poles. This fellow thought he had chosen his target wisely for a little robbery, but fate had other plans for him. Unbeknownst to him, he had made a grave mistake. See, there was a thief who had recently pilfered from one of the construction workers. So, when this wannabe thief got caught red-handed, he found himself in a world of trouble. Little did he know, the workers weren't about to let him off easy. They decided to give him a taste of his own medicine until law enforcement arrived. They roughed him up a bit, ensuring he couldn't make a dash for freedom. Despite his protests of innocence, claiming he was just checking things out, they weren't buying it. They kept him restrained until the police showed up, ensuring he wouldn't escape. Thankfully, they didn't inflict any serious harm. They simply wanted to ensure he learned his lesson and thought twice before attempting such a stunt again. Store thief gets caught. In Dallas, at Hair Plus Beauty Supply, chaos erupted when a woman attempted to rob the store. Security footage captured the intense showdown. It all started innocently enough, with the owner confronting her for trying to steal lashes and lash glue. But then, things spiraled out of control. The situation quickly turned physical, with fists flying and kicks exchanged. Then, shockingly, the woman brandished a gun. Panic seized the store as they grappled for control of the weapon. In the midst of the struggle, a shot rang out, sending people diving for cover. In a heart-pounding moment, the store owner managed to wrestle the gun away, averting further disaster. Acting on instinct, he swiftly disposed of the firearm, preventing any more shots from being fired. It was a close call, a moment of pure luck amidst the chaos. But the struggle didn't end there. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, the owner kept the would-be robber pinned down until the police arrived a tense 11 minutes later. Now, facing the consequences of her actions, the woman is charged with first-degree armed robbery.
A woman is now in police custody after attempting to rob.
Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.